Ghostbusters 2020 sequel confirmed to bring back original cast members. That is the headline on this week's MB Movie News. And John, this comes in from slashfilm.com in regards to bringing back some familiar faces from the original Ghostbusters movie.
But not Harold Ramis, Stephen, which I'll allow you to get into. I don't know what to make of this, Stephen, because, as it does say at the beginning of this article, Jason Reitman's, whatever you say, however you say his name, Reitman, I'm going to say, will be introducing a new generation of proton pack wielding ghost hunters. We obviously reacted to that ridiculously short trailer. It was only about 25 seconds long, if that. Shot of that, obviously the classic vehicle, which totally eludes me right now, the name of it. I think it's something 1.
Ecto 1, yeah.
Ecto 1. Yeah. And then there was nothing else. And then they did say it was going to be a sort of passing of the baton to a new generation. Now, my big question is this going to cut out the 2016 all-female led remake? Or sort of a movie? Is this set in the same universe as that? Or is it just completely ignoring it and going back to the, obviously, Ghostbusters 2? Because they do say that most of the original cast members actually came back and starred in different roles in that Ghostbusters movie. I say they do say, Stephen, because I, as of yet, have still not watched that absolute abomination. It was the 2016 remake. I believe it was 2016. What do I make of this, though? I don't know. It really just depends on the script and how they handle it. If it's in a similar vein to The Force Awakens, where it was a sort of a passing of the baton with obviously Han and Chewie passing it off to a new generation, not really well handled. That's probably a bad example.
No.
Really, he gets stabbed with a sword with his son. It's not a good example. He didn't really pass the baton either, did he?
Kind of put the baton through him.
Yeah, he put the baton through him and then threw it down a huge gaping chasm and then a planet and pulled it in on it.
I wish they'd do that with the 2016 Ghostbusters film. But John, I don't care. I've got to be honest with you. If I want to see
Sigourney Weaver coming back though.
Yeah, but if I want to see all these people, I'll just watch the original one. You know, there seems to be this trend in Hollywood at the moment of passing the baton on. Think of something original. Do something original. Stop taking old franchises, bringing back the living remaining actors. You know, to pass the baton as if it's some kind of acceptance ritual that you've got to get through to accept these new people coming in to take on these roles. I'll just sit back and watch the 1984 Ghostbusters film, not so much the second one, it was rubbish as well.
Yeah.
I just think the franchise itself, I grew up with it, so I think I'm a person that can speak from experience on this one. I liked the first one, didn't like the second one, didn't like the 2016 one, so it's got I wouldn't even say it's got a kind of choppy sort of, lifespan. The first one was good and the rest were rubbish.
Yeah, it was like Brad Pitt in that Ad Astra trailer. Yeah. It's dropping to earth like an absolute stone. It's plummeting at the speed of sound.
In regards to these actors coming back to possibly playing their old roles, if they do that, then I stand by my comments. But if they go down the road of doing what they did in the 2016 one, then hell mend them.
But will you be going to see it?
No.
If Bill Murray and obviously Sigourney Weaver, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson come back?
I've got no great urgency to go out and see a film like this because it's for a new generation. My generation's the original one. If they can get something out of it, fair enough. I'm speaking on, obviously, just on, people of my age. I don't think
the original come out in 89?
The original came out in 84. I think
84?
89
No,
was
sorry, the second one.
Yeah, the second one. Yeah, there was a bit of a gap between...
Yeah, so I was born in 89.
Yeah.
So it was kind of before me, my generation, really. But I grew up watching the original too.
Listen, I'm in a bit of a mood because Slash Film, who are a great site to go to read movie reviews and that, there's not one mention of Harold Ramis in this article at all. I think they should have made some kind of reference to the guy. He was a big part of this movie. He was a fantastic director, great writer, and he was a great actor as well. Very funny man. I know the previous history with Bill Murray in regards to a falling out in Groundhog Day, which was sad. I do hope they did make it up before his passing, but I'm not that fussed, I've got to be honest with you. I think this is for a new generation. I'm a little bit flippant. Yeah, I understand the whole passing on the baton thing to a new generation, not just of a new generation of cast members, but obviously a new generation of film goers as well. So I do get what they're doing. I just think they're doing it too often now with old franchises. I don't think there's any need. If you've got faith in the script, you've got faith in your actors, and you've got faith in you know, the plot and the story, then you don't have to rely on the old characters of past to really push the film. Do it as a fresh.
Well, you can do what they've been doing, Stephen, recently with the likes of, well, not so much Halloween, because again, that's a terrible example, but Men in Black International, hopefully, is going to be a good movie. Although,
one, yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes, I've looked and they've still not broke the embargo in terms of critics being allowed to put up their scores. It's only 5 days.
They're waiting for somebody to write a good one.
No, it's not even 5 days. By the time this show hits, Stephen, it'll probably be out. It'll be just about to release.
Okay.
So just a few days before it releases, they're not allowing critics to give their scores. So that's ominous. It's probably a bit of a flop. But look, I digress. It doesn't matter. Just what I'm saying is generally casting a new cast and then setting it in the same universe but in a different part of the universe, doing something different with the world and perhaps not having any connections to the original characters. We've seen it time and again.
Emma
right,
Thompson,
Stephen.
I think, was the only one that's going to really have that connection with
exactly.
the Will Smith sort of end of things.
Yeah, a slight little thread of connection, and then you can just go off and let them breathe and have their own story. That's what you do if you want to create a new Ghostbusters movie. You don't have to keep going back and trudging up the past again and again. All you're doing is sort of nullifying the greatness of those earlier movies, and then you don't really want to go back and watch them, much like Star Wars to a certain extent. It spoils your enjoyment of the older ones if they don't do a good enough job. But look, I'll finish by saying, so far they have Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things, Carrie Coon from Gone Girl, Coon from Gone Girl, not Goon, maybe a Goon, McKenna Grace from Gifted. They've all been cast as new characters, but most importantly, Stephen, they're saying that they will supposedly have a link of some kind with at least one of the original characters. So perhaps we'll see the offspring of Bill Murray or Dan Aykroyd, or perhaps even...
I remember there was talk, this was long before the 2016 release, that Bill Murray had agreed to come back in some form, but only on the condition he was going to come back as a ghost, which I thought
it's terrible.
Was a terrible idea. But listen, it just was. It is what it is, you know. It just seems to be this common trend in Hollywood at the moment, John, in studios, that they just can't think of anything original at the moment, so they're going back to old franchises, bringing these cast members back, you know, by hook or by crook, whoever they can get, and sort of linking them in some way to, you know, accept this film because we've got some of the, you know, the old cast back. But we'll move on, John, to the next article. It comes in from surprisingly Lad Bible. This one is, but I think it is on a few formats, you know, platforms. And this is Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, who are working on a new horror movie. I think the horror movie is going to be set in Swedish island, and it's called Savalta.
Savalta.
Unlike Shaun of the Dead, from what I get from this article, John, is that this is not going to be a horror comedy. Could be, it just doesn't mention it. It seems to be that they're going down the road of it being an out-and-out horror movie, and I think it's going to be picked up by Orion Pictures, which is good news. So it's a credible production company that's going to be involved in this, but more importantly, a credible writing team and acting team of Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Yeah,
and James Serafinovic, Stephen, as well. Is apparently another chap who's on board in terms of writing alongside, also, as you did say, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. He's actually the brother of Peter Serafinovic, obviously. From Alan Partridge.
And he was in Shaun of the Dead as well.
He was in Shaun of the Dead, so you're right, it's a good sort of a group of people that are getting together here to pen the script. It's intriguing. I think that zombie one they did last year, I can't recall what it's actually called. It says it in the article at some point down the bottom.
Slaughterhouse Rules.
Slaughterhouse Rules. I was intrigued by the trailer for that, but I think it turned out that it was a little bit lacklustre. And that was because they were trying to, I think, sort of rekindle some of the magic from Shaun of the Dead. Sans also Edgar Wright, and it didn't really pay off. So what I said to you, Stephen, reading this article, it does intrigue me. These guys getting back together. I love these two actors. Every time they get together, it's usually pretty decent in the main. Not always, but usually.
Paul.
But so it's 50-50 right then. Really.
Horses for courses.
Yeah, horses for courses. But what I'd like to see them do is perhaps do a more serious horror, a darker story, perhaps with less laughs. And if they really do want to utilise laughs, just subtle little dark comedy moments in there where perhaps somebody's got their head blown off or whatnot. A zombie's got his head blown off and it's a joke. But I think it'll probably be, again, a sort of a Shaun of the Dead set up here. But look, it's very intriguing, as I did say. They're saying the story is scary, it's awesome, it's crazy, and their unique voice is perfect for this movie. We can't wait to bring this to the big screen with them. As you did say, Stephen, Orion Pictures, a very credible studio, and it's really the perfect home for them to bring that horrifying vision that they've conjured up. They said Svalta, it's in Sweden, amazing landscape and the scenery you're going to be utilising there. It's just perfect. We've seen, obviously, what the hell is that one called? Midsommar. I want to say summertime all the time. I've got Will Smith in my brain, you know.
Mungo Jerry.
Yeah. Midsommar, that's set in Sweden. So that gives you an idea of what you're getting. You can go two directions with it. It can either be really bright and a sort of a colourful setting, or it can be a really dark, if it's in the middle of winter, snowy, harsh setting. I'd rather they go with that if it's going to be zombies and whatnot. But look, I've not got much more to say on it, Stephen. It's very intriguing. I love these two chaps. I'm glad to see them getting together. I actually didn't know that about the Cornetto trilogy, incidentally. They speak about that at the bottom of this article too, how that was coined. Apparently they dished out Cornettos and then they named it in the second movie. Obviously it must have been Hot Fuzz. In the hopes that they would get some sort of a deal with Cornetto. Never worked. I'd want to see Edgar Wright coming in.
God loves a trial, John. But listen, we're going to switch round articles here because you did mention Midsommar. And this was an article that did come in on Cinema Blend from Jordan Peele. Says that Midsommar has the most atrociously disturbing imagery he's ever seen. Obviously, he's not directing this film.
No.
It's going to be Ari Aster, the Hereditary filmmaker.
Yes.
Obviously, he's very close to Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele saw this film, and for someone like Peele as a director, saying that this is some of the most atrociously disturbing imagery he's ever seen. What do you make of this, John? Is this him just doing his friend a favour in promoting this film, or do you genuinely believe that it is some of the most atrociously disturbing imagery he's ever seen?
No, Stephen, I believe him. I haven't seen Hereditary. I know what this guy is capable of in terms of imagery and just the visceral violence that he's capable of conjuring up on the screen. That was an incredibly violent movie. There was some really ridiculous moments in that movie.
Definitely was.
Is it Gabriel Byrne that was in it? He played the husband. He gets set on fire with some sort of a witchcraft and burns to death in front of his family. The little girl gets decapitated by a pole, a telephone pole, and then the mother starts sawing her. She's possessed and obviously levitating in her attic and starts sawing her own head off above her son.
All good stuff,
This is what the guy done in his first movie, Stephen, Ari Aster. So that's a nice warm-up for this. So I know what he's capable of. I know the visceral violence the guy's capable of producing.
But not in the same way as, what was that torture one called? The Backpackers?
Jeepers.
Can't remember
The
what it's
Hills
called.
of Eyes?
No, it wasn't that one, John. It was the one where they were in some kind of hostel, that's what it's called.
Hostel?
That was some kind of hostel, it's called Hostel.
There's so many.
But it doesn't go to that lengths of... that kind of horror porn.
No, it all has has a point.
Meaning, it all has a reason. Well, I don't think there's any reason for doing these things.
Yeah, sawing your head off. Yeah.
What obviously Jordan Peele was saying here, I think when you don't need some kind of a monster in your films to really shock your audiences. Some of the most normal characters you get in the horror films are the most terrifying. That's what I meant by the hostel thing. When you saw some of the acts from these supposed, they were, I think, businessmen and stuff like that, that were performing these very sadistic acts on, just innocent people, just to get kicks out of it or something like that, was some of the most disturbing stuff.
That's the most disturbing stuff,
at that point. And you're right, Hills of Eyes, I think the remake was out the same year, and it had that element as well. But I don't think that's Ari Aster's style. There's always I'm not saying going to say a justification for this, definitely not. But there's always a good story behind certain things happening and how they're executed as well.
There's motivations behind the acts. Stephen, in that movie, Hereditary, it was all sort of a witchcraft and rituals and summoning a demon up and just continuing it on through, I think, it was attracted to male figures and they wanted the young girl to be in the body of the brother and whatnot, so it all had its place. It was a strange movie, but it was beautifully directed. It had some great visual aesthetics. Very slow burn. This movie feels like it's going to be the same. And the fact you have got Jordan Peele, a man of that calibre, haven't seen the movie, had a sneak peek, and he's completely, obviously, abhorrent. Not abhorrent, disturbed. He's atrociously disturbed, as he says, by the imagery. So that's very promising for me. I can't wait to see it. We've reacted to 2 trailers. I want to see what this blonde creature, disfigured blonde creature, what does she have? What role does she have in this movie? You heard the screams behind the door. Again, you've got some audio stuff going on there. It just disturbs you. You had the in Hereditary, the little girl
Yeah.
spooking her brother, haunting him and whatnot. We're getting more of that. And I seen, Stephen, I paused the trailer when I was looking at it and stuff like that, and you see mangled legs, and you do see some horrific things in there. Also the blood being put on the sort of a pagan stone, ritualistic stone. It's also going to be ritual. It's going to be this thing that happens every 90 odd years or something, this ceremony, and there's going to be utter nonsense and violence going on there. It's going to be disturbing. I can't wait. It's going to be a better Wicker Man. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I think
No
it
Nick
will be.
Cage.
Oh, definitely not.
Getting
But
burnt
John,
in a big giant wicker.
I'm
tower.
looking forward to it. I think those early trailers really gave it a lot of hope, you know. And I'm not a big horror fan, but when it's done right, I can get on board and enjoy it. I certainly am looking forward to this movie. But we'll move on to our final article.
Yes.
This was going to be the second last one, but I think it makes more sense for it just to be. It's more light-hearted, John. This
Yes.
comes in from Cinema Blend. It's if anyone's actually been on YouTube to see this chat, I think it's Control_Shift_Face. We came across the video that sort of triggered this, John. It's just to do with deepfakes. We watched, I think it was Conan. Bill Hader was on.
Yeah.
And it was this chap did the deepfake where they superimposed the actor's face onto
Arnie.
Bill Hader. Yes, that's right. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger. He already does a fantastic impersonation of Arnold Schwarzenegger. A lot of people out there can do it very well, but I think Bill Hader's is certainly one of the best I've seen. But some of the, switching back and forth between Hader and Schwarzenegger's face seamlessly.
Yeah.
It was just the way it was done. It was so good. But there's a related video to this, and this is the one we want to talk about. It's Sylvester Stallone shares Terminator 2 scene with himself in Arnold's role, and it is eerie. And I've got to agree with Cinema Blend. It is very eerie. It's actually two scenes. There's the one with I think it was a cut scene from Terminator 2, or it was in the ultimate cut. I think I might have had it in DVD.
The smile.
The smile one. It was a bit cringeworthy, but Sylvester Stallone's in there performing this. It's not his voice. It's obviously Arnold Schwarzenegger. Some of it's a bit strange looking because there's obviously the bone structure in their face. Schwarzenegger's clearly got a longer face.
And he's got a far better body in terms of working.
Yeah,
He could have
so
been a
and you
Mr.
can
Universe.
actually see at times it's clearly Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
But also we got to see that great introduction, from Terminator 2 as well. That entrance scene as well, where Schwarzenegger does go into the bar to get the clothes, the boots, the jacket, and all that, and the motorcycle. And in his place is obviously Sylvester Stallone. What do you make of this, John? This is how far we're coming along with technology. We went into obviously a discussion about it before we came on air, and you were talking about the Rogue One stuff as well.
Yeah, Rogue One, at the end of Rogue One, obviously that sort of a uncanny valley effect that obviously the shot of Princess Leia at the end of that when she says hope, obviously had on viewers. I mind seeing the photograph and it just spooked me. Someone actually deep faked that and put actual Carrie Fisher's face on it.
Yeah.
Looked better. The eyes lit up, there was more life in them, and it just looked.
Yeah.
I don't understand how Disney couldn't have utilised similar technology and made it more realistic. I mean, and perhaps I'm being harsh. They've utilised all the hard work of Disney, and then they've just superimposed images from various different angles and made, obviously enhanced that all the hard work of Disney. But it did look better. There's no doubt about it. This, as you did say, Stephen, for the most part, absolutely incredible. There is little moments where it dips, but again, it just shows you the technology and where we're going.
Yeah.
With CG and whatnot, and these deep fakes, being able to take photos of actors from whole myriads of different angles, piece it all together into a moving, sort of a fluid image, and it's getting to the stage you can't really differentiate between whether it's them, it's really there or not. It's incredible, and it's no better summed up than, as you did say, both with Bill Hader and that sort of an impersonation interview. Come on, and then the moment where he's talking about being behind backstage working with him on that movie. You need to go and test your professionalism or something like that. It was just the way he did it, amazing. But this is incredible, Stephen. Seeing Stallone as a Terminator, what could have been, if you'd like. Him, I mean, the two guys could have did this role. You could swap these guys in any of the standout movies, Rambo, Predator, Commando, Terminator and whatnot. I mean, they could both step into the roles, no issue whatsoever. No. And we see here just a little insight of what, and he quotes, I think he actually said it in his tweet, that is what a Terminator would look like if he was built from spaghetti and pizza. And I agree. Look, I would have loved it. I'd have loved to have seen Stallone, Sly himself, doing the Terminator, but wasn't to be.
Can you imagine a face-off with both of them? That would have been amazing.
But can you imagine him playing the Robert Patrick character instead of Robert Patrick and getting to see Stallone and Arnie facing off?
That would have been amazing.
That would have been absolutely epic.
Yeah.
But look, it's very, very cool. I love the technology, Stephen. I love the sequence, the smiling one in particular. I thought that was probably a little bit better done in the main. Not so much, not so many jarring sort of moments where you're like, he's morphing into the Arnie there.
No, definitely not.
But
no.
the sequence in the bar's incredible. It's one of them.
I like I actually like the intro to it as well. It's a shot from Last Action Hero from '94, I think that came out.
Yeah.
And ever since 1994, it's always intrigued me because there was that movie poster in the video store where Sylvester Stallone was playing Terminator 2 in that world, because obviously Arnold Schwarzenegger was a real life person rather than a movie star, and it always intrigued me when I saw that, you know, just imagining what Stallone would have brought to the table for that franchise. But it's great to see Sylvester Stallone's given it a notification as well there. You know, he's given it some recognition. And I think Instagram, I think he's still kicking
himself, Stephen, that his agent didn't get him the role.
But it does open up all the possibilities, John, where you can go with this, you know.
It does.
You can go back and do the old films. Also, something that popped into my head there as well. Is it something we might see in this upcoming film, Yesterday?
That would be
perhaps
fantastic.
going to see Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr appearing as they did in the 1969 album cover.
What I should have said, Stephen, that great advert when they were
and that was 10 years ago, that was
2009.
2009.
When promoting the box set,
And
they utilised some sort of a technology of these guys walking across the actual, obviously, crossroads. Whether it was the Beatles themselves and they'd utilised technology, I don't think so. Perhaps it was maybe.
I'd have to go back and see that again.
Yeah, it was
very,
very
reaction to that, actually, since we've not seen it for a while. But
it was very,
I think
well
it was
done,
for Rock Band or whatever it was called as well. I think that came out the same year.
Yeah, Rock Band. Yes, it was Rock Band.
It was an amazing. It was an amazing advert for that product. But listen, the possibilities are endless with this technology.
Yeah, there they are. Yeah, Steve, I've not got much more to add.
That's okay. Listen, I just thought you might want to come in with something else.
No, I love Sly. I'd love to have seen him playing the Terminator. It wasn't to be, it was Arnie. And you know what? He was absolutely amazing.
The rest
as well.
is history, as I said.
The rest was history.
All the future.
I'll be back.
Yep. But listen, we'll just end on that note. Just like to thank you once again for joining us on MBE Movie News. And we will all be back again tomorrow with the Blog Rundown.